Hey, what's up guys, it's Andy here, and I've been playing a lot of Black Ops 2 recently, and I'd come up with a list of things that I'd like to see changed. If you agree with me, leave a like below, or don't, or whatever. As long as you just view this video and have an opinion, I'd like to hear your opinion, genuinely. I'm not trying to whore for comments or anything, I'd just like to genuinely hear your opinion, and I might have an argument with you, and I might agree with you, and I might put some of your thoughts into my next suggestions to PC Dev, who is the person I talk to about all this sort of stuff. So I'll jump right into the list. Number 1, I'd like to see changeable killstreaks. I'd like to see the problem with killstreaks getting less and less effective as you call them in. Number 2, I'd like the ability to see kill cams and various things like that spectating in theatre mode. Number 3, the flag/bomb markers moved out of your line of sight, because they do get in the way sometimes. 4, width of PC side chat decreased for 4 to 3 monitors. Now that really is a pain, because the side chat, when someone writes a big long statement, that comes right into the middle of your screen and ruins your aim and your line of sight and everything. So I think that's kind of a desperate change, and it's not that hard to implement, so I think I should see that one removed, that one changed pretty quickly. Number 4, when all reticules unlocked for a particular site, custom reticule is allowed to be unlocked, and you can design it yourself. Obviously no porn, and just a giant penis pointing to the person that you're trying to shoot. I would like the ability to change your reticule to your own liking. Number 5, number 6 even, the ability to change crosshair thickness. Now this one's always been a problem of mine ever since I played Counter-Strike. The crosshairs in Black Ops 2 and other Call of Duty games are far too small for me, so I don't really pay attention to them enough, and I'd like to be able to thicken them in game without the use of blue tack in the middle of my screen. Number 7, improve the team balancing algorithms. Number of times I see a bunch of skill-based matchmaking style things, so that you've got a full team of 1.5 KD players with big score per minutes up against me, who is and I'm a 1.5 KD player with a fairly high score per minute, and the rest of my team sucks, but the rest of their team is quite good, and so I can't win the game on my own every time. I mean, sometimes I can if it's completely outbalanced, but most of the time I can't. So now I'm going to get onto the guns, and I've got a big long list of this. 1, I'd like to see the Cap 40 fire rate reduced, just to make it more in line with the MSMC and various other 3-shot kill weapons. So I'd like to see it reduced to around about 800 rounds per minute, because it's now at 937 or something like that. I'd like to see the SWAT 556 select fire reduced, because it's a pain in the ass to get it to the select fire part, and to have it turn out as not a very good weapon when you get there is really, really horrible to me anyway. I'd like to see the Ballista Fire rate increased to better realign the handling speed, because it says faster handling, and I thought it should have faster handling. It doesn't have faster handling, it's just got a faster scope in speed, which doesn't really make much difference due to the fact that you have to aim properly with it anyway, and by the time you've aimed properly, the DSR could have aimed not so well but kind of alright, and the DSR has fewer hit markers because you can aim at the waist, and so it's not really affected at all by this faster fire rate, faster aim down sight speed. I mean, I'd like the ability to initiate the bolt pull on sniper rifles and shotguns and pump actions. That's what I mean. While you're sprinting, because when you sprint straight after shooting a shotgun, a pump action shotgun, or a sniper rifle, you won't start pulling the bolt until you've stopped sprinting, which is really, really annoying. I want to see that change pretty damn quickly, actually. I would like to see the pistol swap time reduced, and the machine pistol swap time increased for obvious reasons, because people just pulling out a Cap 40 and blowing your face off is really quite annoying. I'd like to see the SMGs have an increased range penalty when you put a silencer on, because they still pretty damn effective when you put a silencer on, so I really want that changed. I'd like the M27 to have a increased range, because it's got a low damage, low fire rate, and well, it does have a very low recoil. But if you're taking 5 or 6 shots to kill someone at a long range, that recoil, and they've got an MSMC and they can outgun you from that range, that's just a bit silly from where I'm sitting. I'd like to see the DSR movement speed reduced to better align with the Ballista and the XPR. I'd like to see the Ballista iron sight ADS time reduced, aim down sight time that is if you don't know. I'd like to see that reduced very, very quickly, because why not use a KSG? I mean, it's pretty hard to use the iron sights on the Ballista because they're so clunky, and they've got a lot of big pieces of metal surrounding them so that you can't see what's going on apart from the ones exactly in the middle. It's really damn hard to drag scope, and with a really high ADS time, the standard ADS time for a sniper rifle, it's quite hard to use them. So I don't see many people using them, and if they do, they've stuck a laser sight on there to help their quick scopes and things, whatever. I'd like to see the R870 CMS have a reduced fire rate, for obvious reasons. I mean, it's powerful, it's got a fast fire rate, so even if you get hit marker, you'll probably get another shot on by the time that they've seen that you've got hit mark on them. I'd like to... This one's a bit of a debatable one, but I'd like to see how it turns out. I'd like to see the laser sight option, attachment, removed from SMGs, and I know some of you will argue with that if you're listening to this. And I don't blame you, because that's a big part of the game that I would like to see gone. But anyway, I'd like to see an increased time taken for sniper rifles to be ready after sprinting, and this one is a big one, because lots and lots of people complain about how snipers are so OP, overpowered in close quarters, and in some senses I agree, and in other senses I don't. I would not like to see them have reduced damages, because that would make it really hard. I would not like to see them have reduced, have an increased time for scoping in. That would make them really hard to use. But if you make dexterity a necessity, and still make it quite hard for it to be ready after sprinting, you won't see many people running around and then blowing your face off straight away as soon as you see them. That will cut down on that, and I think that's a good option to balance sniper rifles. I'd like to see the Skorpion have a reduced recoil and a higher hipfire spread. This is basically to stop people hipfiring across the map, because ADS is so damn inaccurate. I'd like an increased ADS time for ACOG and target finder scopes in general, not on snipers, just generally on assault rifles and SMGs. I'd like to see that changed. I'd like to have a decreased recovery time from EMP, and this is from an EMP grenade, that is. This is purely because the thermal scope and laser sights and things like that take huge amounts of time to recover, and I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's balanced at all. I'd like to see all automatic weapons with select fire have an increased cyclic fire rate, and I'm not quite sure if this one's actually correct, because the only one I've tried is the AN94, which anyone who knows about guns will know that has a very slow burst fire rate and a very fast, has very slow cyclic fire rate and a very fast burst fire. But I don't know if this applies to any other gun in the game, because I haven't tried it yet. I would like to have a reduced movement speed when firing from the hip, all weapons. I mean, have you ever seen someone walk around normally, and then walk around normally when firing a weapon and still have it quite accurate? So I'd like to see you slow down a bit to stop people weaving all over the place, duck walking. I'd like to see the KSG hipfire spread completely removed. It should have no hipfire spread. If you're standing still, it should have no hipfire spread. And what I mean is, when you're standing still and the gun is completely ready, it should have no hipfire spread, because the KSG has now around a 65 rounds per minute fire rate, and that should be changed, and that should be kept the same. And I think the time it takes to have the gun completely ready so that it will hipfire pinpoint accurately should be around about 55 rounds per minute. This would mean that as soon as you take a shot and that's accurate, it would take just less than a second for it to be accurate, for it to be ready again, and just more than a second for it to be accurate on hipfire again. This I think would just balance things a little, because it's so inconsistent that it's like a sniper rifle. But anyway, I'd like to see increased movement speed with the ballistic knives equipped, purely because why would you equip the ballistic knives when you've got the combat knife, which gives you further run, that gives you a further distance to run, and pretty much nobody runs ballistic knives because it's just so much easier to use the combat knife. So if you increase the movement speed with ballistic knives equipped, you see a lot more people running around with ballistic knives and getting up close in your personal space, and that's always good in a rusher's game. I'd like to see the MP7 have a reduced rate of fire and a reduced recoil. I mean small reductions in both, however it would more align it, because now it's pretty much the same gun as the Vector, but it's just a little bit worse in most aspects apart from the magazine capacity. And this is the end of my list. If you think I should have any more on there, please leave a comment. If you think the gameplay was good, if you think my list was good, please leave a like or something. I don't expect any recognition for this video, but if you would give me some recognition, I would always appreciate it. This has been Duke playing some Black Ops 2. Thanks. Bye.